Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Kyra and today I'm going to bring to you my #1 products from my Dethroned brands. If you're new to my channel, a very special welcome to you. I hope you will consider subscribing before you leave if you like what you see today. So this video is a sequel to another video that I did recently. In that video, I talked all about the brands that have been dethroned from my favorite brands. They're brands that I still like and I still have products from, but they're not favorite brands anymore for one reason or another. So I will go ahead and link that up here in the eye in case you missed that video. And that video was of course inspired by the beautiful and stunning Samantha March. This video was also inspired by Samantha March. I believe she might have done this as a group collab, but Samantha never fails to inspire me with her ideas, and I just really wanted to find out for myself what the brands were that I once loved that are no longer favorites, and also my favorite products from those brands. So let's get into it. My first dethroned brand was L'Oreal, and as a matter of fact, one of you made a comment on that original video asking, what about this product? I know you love this product so much. And I do. It is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronze It in the shade Light. I have talked endlessly about this product on my channel. It's just the perfect bronzer. It's like, had I bought this at the beginning of my journey in beauty, I might not have bought all of the other bronzers that I have in my collection because this one is perfect. It is luminous, but it's not as shimmery as it looks in the pan. And one thing that I seem to find when talking about luminous products is that they're very, very blendable. If they're too shimmery, they have a little bit of an opportunity to get patchy on the skin. If they're matte, depending on the formula, sometimes it can be harder to blend out. But with this one and other luminous products where it's just a sheen, blends like butter. I like this because it's closer to a neutral bronzer versus cool or super warm, and so this tends to work for my skin all of the time. I've made a huge dent in this product. I don't know if you'll be able to see it here because it's just so beautiful. I've talked before endlessly about this being the fixer of bronzers because if you have any patchiness, any weird coloring, or just, you know, anything happening with another bronzer, you can just dust a little bit of this over the top of it and it just makes it look flawless, airbrushed, and mwah. The next brand is Morphe, and I will admit that there are few products that I love from Morphe anymore. That's why it is a dethroned brand for me. But one product that I absolutely would consider repurchasing at some point would be the Continuous Setting Mist. This is an empty for me, but I loved every minute of this product. I think it's a reasonable price for how much use I got out of this. The mist is super fine. The smell is not at all offensive. I just like the way that it works with my skin type and with the makeup that I wear. I feel like it melts everything into the skin and possibly extends the wear of my makeup ever so slightly, and it's just a good setting spray. It does everything I want it to do, nothing I don't want it to do. Like I said, it melts the powders in, but without leaving a dewy finish behind, which I really appreciate, especially at this time of year because I have combo to oily skin. So this is definitely my favorite product from Morphe. I believe the only other product I have from Morphe in my collection is the original Jaclyn Hill palette, which I do still love, but I wouldn't say it's my #1 product from Morphe. I like it, I still use it, but this is my favorite. Next is Too Faced, and I do still have some Too Faced left in my collection. I believe I have 3 palettes left and that's it. I don't have any face products or lip products or anything like that. But my absolute favorite palette from Too Faced is my chocolate gold palette. And admittedly, I don't get to use this as much as I would like, but it's a beautiful palette. I love the shades and the tones in here. I think all of the shadows are good, not a single dud to be found in here, and that's really saying something. I don't think I could say that about most of the palettes in my collection, but this one's perfect. It has just the right amount of mattes in here for me personally. When I'm wearing either bright shimmers or very, very shiny, glittery shimmers, I like to do a neutral crease. And so for me, these are the perfect shades. You've got a mid-tone brown, a little bit deeper brown, a black, and a cream shade. And that's all I've ever needed to set up a look with this palette. I just think this is one of the best palettes that Too Faced has done. If I had to pick a runner-up, it would probably be my Sweet Peach palette, because I really like the textures and the tones in that palette as well. The texture is fantastic in here. I think it's a beautiful palette for any time of year, but I especially love this around the holidays and or for any glam look that I might want to create. The next brand was Becca Cosmetics, and I do have a handful of Becca products left in my collection. I believe I have 2 highlighters and then the product that I'm going to talk about today. I don't love Becca highlighters. Just being honest, I don't like the texture of the actual product itself. I don't feel like it's an overly flattering formula, especially for someone who struggles with a little bit of texture and definitely enlarged pores. But my number one product that I've ever tried from Becca was the Sunlit bronzer in the shade Capri Coast. I once had a little mini of it and I finished that up in a panning project. But I do have this little Afterglow palette. It is the Sunset Afterglow palette from Becca that is really beautiful, and this happens to be the Sunlit bronzer in Capri Coast. What I really like about this bronzer, besides again the tone of it, which is actually possibly similar to the L'Oreal one, as I really like the texture of the product. I like the way it feels. It's not quite as soft as the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, but it is really soft and creamy and blendable, also like the L'Oreal Bronze It. It's just a really beautiful bronzer, and if I had to recommend one product from Becca, it would absolutely be their Sunlit bronzers in whatever shade works best for you. It's just very blendable, it's very soft, it's very flattering, it doesn't emphasize texture. This particular shade, not too orange, not too yellow, it's not cool tone, it's more in that neutral family like I was talking about earlier. That being said, I haven't found any excitement in Becca Cosmetics for quite some time, at least a year or so. I kind of picked up the sort of cult favorite products from the brand when I first started my YouTube channel, and since then I just haven't been tempted by anything that they've put out, which is why it is in my Dethroned brands, but I do really like and recommend the Capri Coast bronzer. The next brand is Urban Decay, and this was a tough one for me because my actual favorite product from Urban Decay has long since been discontinued and is no longer available anywhere, and that is the Elements palette from Holiday 2018. That being said, I haven't bought a lot from the brand since then, but my current favorite product from the brand that still excites me to use, it's not a favorite palette of mine, but it's definitely my favorite product from Urban Decay from all of the products that I've used over the years, and that is their Born to Run palette. I love everything about this palette. I first of all love this packaging. It's super sturdy but not overly bulky. It's absolutely beautiful to look at, and I also love how this just very easily folds back completely. I can hold the palette in my hand like this. Really great packaging. I also love just all the shades in this palette. I like that you have a good amount of neutrals, but you also have a lot of color. I think this is the kind of color that would be easier for a beginner in eyeshadow to dabble in, because these are a little bit more muted tones. You're less likely to get carried away because of the formula of the Urban Decay eyeshadows. I do find this formula, I know some people might disagree, but I do find this formula similar to the Naked palettes in terms of how the mattes feel and how the shimmers feel. My favorite shade in the palette is definitely Big Sky, which is this blue green right here. It's absolutely gorgeous, and while it seems maybe like a more common shade, this particular one for some reason is just special. I also really love this like gunmetal gray shade called Drift, and I mean just all the rest of the shades. I'm really glad they included this shade called Still Shot. It's a matte salmon color, and I think it's just a really fun pop with a lot of these other shades in the palette. But overall, this is just my #1 thing that I still have in my collection from Urban Decay. I've tried lip products, I've tried setting spray, I have tried a lot from the brand, and this is one of 2 remaining products in my collection, and it's my favorite. And then last but not least is BareMinerals. BareMinerals is back on my radar again. I spoke about in my previous video how I was a die-hard BareMinerals wearer of complexion makeup for a long time, and then the brand hadn't been on my radar since then. It is starting to come back onto my radar again. I'm seeing a lot of people using their products more now, and I'm not for sure what that's about, but I'm glad. Allie Glines has been using their liquid bronzer, which is now on my wish list at Ulta, and Kelly Gooch frequently uses their matte powder foundation. But my #1 product from this brand is a mascara. It's the mascara that I'm wearing today. It's the mascara that I have been wearing for some time now, and it's absolutely a high-end mascara that I would consider repurchasing in the future, because I've yet to find a drugstore dupe that does the same thing for my lashes. The mascara I'm talking about is the Lashtopia. This is the full size. I got this in a little point kit thing from Sephora, and it's really not super noteworthy in terms of the brush, but it is the formula that is special about this. It's just thick enough without being dry or gloopy. I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to see if I look up just the beautiful definition that it gives my lashes. I get the length and I get the volume without getting clumps or flakes, and that's not something I've experienced from a mascara before. I frequently can get length but no volume, or I can get volume but not a lot of length, and a lot of times when I get volume, it's not the kind of volume that I want. It's that clumpy, spidery, you know, flaky business, and I'm not into that. I want length. I'd love to have some volume, and this one does that. This is really just like adheres to the lashes and just like coats them without any chunks. I've had this open for months now, and it's definitely getting to the point where it's going to be time to throw it away or what have you in terms of the length of time that I've had it open. But it hasn't misbehaved for me yet. It's just gorgeous. I love me a drugstore mascara, and I will continue to buy drugstore mascaras, but this is definitely something I would treat myself to in the future, and it's not obnoxiously priced either. I believe this one is $20, which, you know, when it comes to high-end mascaras, is actually on the lower end of the spectrum. So I highly recommend this. If you like length and volume, this is a good one, and it also holds a curl like a champ. I haven't had any transfer issues or anything of the like, so this one's a keeper and definitely my favorite product from BareMinerals. And that, my friends, is it. it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a really fun time. Again, thank you to Samantha March for the idea. 100% creatively her ideas on the previous video as well as this one. But let me know down in the comments below, what are your dethroned brands and what are your favorite products from those brands? Because I love hearing about that. Sometimes just because we don't like a brand anymore doesn't mean that we don't still have a favorite that comes from that brand that we'll continue to use, continue to buy, or continue to have in our collection. So I hope you are staying safe and well out there right now. I hope you're being kind to others. And I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful, #1 makeup days. And I will see you in my next video soon.